welcome to the Barggianos podcast. My name is Chuck. I am your hostess with the leastest, and with me, as always,
Matt.
Matt.
Matt's
the man. Man, that's awesome. You're the man, Matt.
I know.
That's all I can say. You're the man. You know what? The man. I'm manly thirsty right now, so I'm gonna grab me one of these fancier beers again. If you do me the honors of, you know what time it is?
Ring the bell.
Time for a drink. Oh yeah.
Now I gotta wait for you to pour it.
I'm pouring. Oh man, I got a head because of you. I'm trying to.
All that head.
You know, actually, they say the head's good for the beer when you pour it. Growing up as an amateur, I'd always try to pour it without any head, and you thought you were getting away with something. And apparently, if you put the head in there, it does it in the beer rather than do it in your stomach, and you don't get so sick. So I can vouch for that. So
yeah.
Cheers, buddy.
Cheers.
Well, that's good. It's always, it's never been bad.
Yeah.
Anyway, so Matt, how's Matt doing tonight?
Doing well.
Doing well.
Doing well.
Yeah, it's a late night at Barggianos. This is a late night session.
Late night, and I'm flying solo at the house.
So why is that? Where's everybody at?
Oh, volleyball tournament, friends. So, it's just me and the one dog, not both dogs. Just me and the one dog.
I may have some dog news somewhat soon.
Yeah.
Well, just leave it there. Is it you? Is it me? Is it anyone? I'm gonna leave that as a little teaser. I don't know. Yeah, I didn't do much tonight. We were. I was just kind of, watching some tube, waiting for you to get over here. I was reading through the old internet, scrolling there. Did you see? Are you aware of the DNA site? It's called DNA and Me, or DNA 23, or something along the lines, where it's one of those sites where you send off your DNA and then they say what's your ancestry, and then if you're related to people and all these different things.
Yeah.
Did you see what happened in the news or what's going on with it?
No.
So kind of freaky. I want to say this is why I never did it, but I always thought it was kind of weird. I thought the idea of getting the information back and the results are nice, but I'm like, somebody has your DNA like just to use on something. I never felt comfortable. But so what's going on right now is the company is going out of business, and somebody bought it, and guess what? They get to keep all the DNA. They get to do whatever they want with it. So they're saying right now, try to get online and cancel your account, and that way this might be the only way you can get out. But people are saying that they can't even log into the account, that's the site's down. And I'm like, that's questionable.
That's strange. But I mean, what are they going to do with my DNA? I don't know. I mean, what's the big deal?
I mean, I'd clone you.
Yeah.
Two Matts here. That'd be pretty cool during the intro.
Probably not.
You guys could fight over and Matt, and then we could have like a full out brawl.
Yeah, during the intro, but two Matts in this world, that would not be good.
I don't know, man. You could get a lot more done. You already get a pretty busy schedule. You could maybe actually catch up with yourself.
Get, twice as much done. I can have two podcasts.
Well, that kind of hurts my feelings there. I think one's enough for you. Let's just focus on the main one now, and then later on we can branch off, But you never know. Maybe I will buy your DNA. It's an option. But speaking of DNA, I was watching another thing, including some DNA. I was watching, I think it was Hulu or something. They had a documentary on Girls Gone Wild. Do you remember Girls Gone Wild?
I remember Girls Gone Wild.
I feel like that was like one of those things you have in your brain that's a vault that you put away and just never ever thought about ever again. And when it came up, a lot of the stuff came up like they were talking about on TV. Remember, you'd be watching like Howard Stern on, what was it, E or something, and like every other commercial would have the commercial for the girl. We're like, woohoo! The girl screams, and then the names of them were all coming back, like Daddy's Girl. Like it was really like, looking back, I'm like, that's pretty morbid stuff. But anyway, the point of the documentary, a lot of it was they had some of the girls on saying how it affected them, and like when the girls showed her breast on film, she was saying that she was at a club, and she was drunk, and then the guys asked her to do it, and she said she did it, and she didn't think anything would ever become of it. Well, she goes home from spring break or whatever's going on, and she finds out that it's on TV. They go on TV, and she sees herself. It gets worse. They go into school, and all the kids are like, "Hey, that's the girl," and she said it was super embarrassing. And then the worst part was one of the biology teachers called her out and asked her if she'd autograph the cover, and then she was on the cover of the actual DVD. So my question to you is, I'm not picking a side here. My wife and you were kind of sitting here talking about it. They're making that his name was Joe Francis, I believe his name was, the owner, but they're making him out to be like this is the worst thing ever done in life. But my wife and I were kind of saying it's not morally probably correct, and taking advantage of younger people and making bad decisions. But at the same time, they're in public and they didn't force them to do anything whatsoever, and they knew what it was about. So, what's your thoughts on that? You have been especially you with the daughters.
Yeah, I don't want to think about that with my kids.
No, but I'm saying I don't have any daughters. But my opinion stuff.
I don't know. I don't think he's a bad guy. He owns the company. And I don't know how they work. Did they sign waivers when they were in the bar?
There was consent, like on the video. Yeah. They said that, and everything she said, like, yes, I agreed to it. I did these things, and again, they weren't. I won't say they weren't tricking them, but they were. She's like, I was drunk and I woke up and I don't remember anything. But I'm like, again, you were drunk and it's the decision.
But a contract would be void if you were drinking.
I don't know the logistics.
It is,
but also you're in public.
And I'm not an attorney, but
you're not.
No.
Oh. Well, this
but yeah, you're in a bar. I know in the state we live in public places, you're allowed to take pictures.
Mm-hmm.
But I'm really indifferent on this. Did they pay her for this, or did she just consent to it?
It was complete consent, no payment. A T-shirt.
Yeah, and back in those days, you only had VCR tapes, right? That's what the Girls Gone Wild, VCR tapes, and then eventually DVDs. Now you got mainstream media where if you do that, and you scroll through reels all the time, and an influencer will ask a girl, "What's the craziest thing you ever want to do?" And they're like, "Oh, I want to stick this guy's legs up in the air and I want to peg him." Think of the Hawk Tua girl. Okay, yeah. That's recent, and I say recent, over a year ago. But
let me cut you off. Sorry, but it's not nudity 100%. Like this is straight showing skin. This would, if you're saying something more, raunchy, it's one thing. But this was actually, and my question was too that, I mean, if you're talking about law wise, it wouldn't technically they're breaking the law too because they're showing nudity in public too. Again, I'm not placing blame on the women at all. I'm just saying it was very interesting to watch this because it was like it was very one-sided against someone, but the more I was thinking about it, I'm like, man, that's a difficult conundrum, if you would.
I think that's a life lesson learned. Mm-hmm. And that's the way I think of it. They don't think about the consequences at the time,
right?
And then the consequences hit them a day later, a week later, 5 years later. Mm-hmm. So I don't think the guy who runs the company is a bad guy. I think she made a bad decision. She's paying for the repercussions. I hope she doesn't have any mental illness because of it.
My wife actually said, and she wasn't really being funny, but she was saying, it would. I get why it would stink if it happened, but at the same point, she said if it happened to her, she goes, I'd look back at that and proud, like I was young, I was in my prime, I was all these things, and it's kind of but I think it might depend on each individual. How they're basically like, own it, like, that's me, whoever, or be super embarrassed and want to like hurt themselves. That's the worst case scenario, but. I don't know. It was very interesting. And again, speaking of all the old stuff, they're showing the old commercials, and I remember I knew people that would go out and like make the T-shirts and the hats and bring their cameras to the club. I'm sure I wasn't the only one that had friends like that, but I'm like, what are you guys doing? But it was a crazy time, and watching that, I think again it was on Hulu, but it brought back so many memories of like that era.
Yeah,
it was like 98 or something like that.
But it goes back, a story about my daughter. one of my older ones, and she played club soccer. Her and I were away at a tournament. Parents got a little rowdy at the tournament, and my daughter was frustrated. And after the game, she's like, "Dad, let's go." Well, we hurry off the field. We get in the car. What do you know, as we're getting in the car, the lady, one of the parents from the other team, was cussing my daughter out. And my daughter, cusses back at her. And we get in the car and we leave. Nice day. And what are the odds we pull up right next to this lady at a stoplight?
Oh, boy.
Okay. My daughter says, "Dad, I'm going to record her because I think she's crazy." And I said, "That's fine." We pull up next to her. The lady starts cussing my daughter out again.
Oh, wow.
So my daughter's just cussing her out, video rolling. We pull away from the stoplight. And I said, "Hey, delete that social media or delete that video. Don't send it to anybody on social media. Nothing happened. Get rid of it. You did it for your protection." Well, my daughter decided it would be a good idea to send it to her team.
Oh.
Someone from her team reported her to the club.
Oh, no.
So the bad thing is, in that video, my daughter is not recording the lady. She's got her phone just kind of in front of her, and it's actually recording herself in her club uniform.
Really?
So it doesn't show any of the contents of really what's happening, and the club suspended her for the rest of the year
Oh, wow.
because that was on social media and they don't support that behavior.
They didn't care either way. I mean, the sense of the moral of your story is that.
Yeah, and the moral of my story is if you do something that you know is going to be on some type of media recorded, you have to pay the consequences for your actions.
Yeah, and again, I think going back to that's the issue or the problem too is when you're younger, your brain isn't fully developed and you're more impulsive and you're making these things. And I know everyone always says this, but do you imagine if there was cameras?
No. I won't even talk about some of the things I did as a kid.
Couldn't even imagine. I couldn't even imagine the different things. But
no, I will tell you. So, going back to that story, I use that as a life lesson for the girls I coach now in soccer. A real life story. Here's what happened. Here's how social media can get you in trouble. Just don't do it. I know you guys want to TikTok and, they don't even text message anymore. They voice Snapchat. I don't even know how that works, but
I can't keep up with all the social medias. But who should? All you guys out there at Barggianos.com, Barggianos@gmail.com, and anything out there pretty much at Barggianos. You know where to find us, man?
at Barggianos.
At Barggianos. That's YouTube, TikTok.
X.
I'm so proud of you. You're saying it like a big man now.
Insta.
Insta. Is Insta cool anymore? I don't even know.
I don't know.
I don't know. I'm throwing them up there. I'm trying to throw some more content up there and, keep it up with all the cool kids, if you will.
Yeah. Bring in those likes, bring in those stories, send in stories, advice, whatever. I mean,
I just got to figure out the difference between a reel, a post. It's a lot to keep up with.
A short.
Yeah.
So, yeah. No, I will tell you as a kid, my good friend of many, many years, Joel, we talked about him before.
Mm-hmm.
I can't tell you exactly. And when we have him on, he'll be able to tell us exactly. But we would go on a scavenger hunt. And one day we stole, I don't know, his mom's mat or some trash can lids. His mom was so pissed off.
Wait, would you take a what?
Like a trash can lid or a doormat or whatever. She knew it was us right away. Joel wasn't even with us that night. And she told Joel, "Tell your idiot friends to give me back whatever we took." He'll be able to tell you exactly what we took.
You thief.
I know. It was scavenger hunt. Do you remember scavenger hunts?
Oh, scavenger hunts. Yeah.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Yeah, but usually you knock on doors and do it. And sometimes when we were kids, we would, go to close friends, nobody we didn't know, and take a doormat.
See, Matt, I was a very good kid. I never stole anything or
We didn't steal
put
it.
anything on social media.
We gave it back. We gave it back.
I was perfect. That was.
But we won our scavenger hunts.
Right, yeah. There you go. Cheers.
Yeah.
I remember we used to do. Did you ever do this? So, I remember, for example, like a kid's birthday party, probably 12 years old, 11 years old. I remember at nighttime, we'd spend the night at someone's house. We would say, everybody bring like a pair of black pants and black shirt or jacket. And then would run around the neighborhood. Like, I'm talking like miles away from the house and like hide from cars. And we thought we were cool, like hiding behind trees. Basically, they couldn't see you. You felt like you're invisible. Was that anything you ever did?
I didn't, but I'm curious. If they couldn't see you, like, what was the point?
Well, there was a group of us walking, and then if you seen a car coming, you might hide behind, or get on the ground. And the point was you're trying to, like, you're a kid. You're like, oh my god, I shouldn't be
being
out.
in disguise. Yeah,
yeah. But it was like such a thrill for that. I don't know. That was one of those things we used to do. But
was TPN ever big when you were a kid?
Yeah, but I never did much of it. I was more like, I think I felt bad for the parents.
Yeah.
I was like an old soul. I'm like, oh man, this is super unfortunate for the parents in the morning. And yeah, I never did much. How about you?
Yeah. One kid got it a lot, and he was a friend of ours,
Yeah.
But he lived off the main street. It was a one street neighborhood. He's probably the third to last house in the neighborhood. So not a lot of traffic and a lot of trees. We TP and go home. I mean, parents eventually caught on.
I had a really fun group. So my parents were like 5, 8, 6 years older than like my friends' parents, but it kind of reminds me of what we all have. Like we're all kind of close and similar in age. We always hang out. Well, minus my parents, they wouldn't come around much, but there's probably a group of, I don't know, 10 couples, 8 couples, and they always hung out really close knit. Well, they always would prank each other for different holidays, and some of them were pretty funny. Like the one, my favorite one was for Easter and Christmas. So he got, I guess for Easter, I forget which one they did it first, but Easter they got they dyed like 1,000 eggs and they put them in this guy's front yard, and they woke up and I mean, like, I'm talking, you couldn't even see the grass. It was hilarious because they just went for it. I mean, kind of when I do stupid shit, I just don't care because I'm like, yeah, this is gonna be worth a laugh. I'd probably get a lot of that from them. And then the second one was hilarious. So when people, after they'd have their Christmas trees and they would dump them down at the park, like that's where your designated park. Like, hey, dump your trees here, we'll take care of it. Well, they went and they got every single tree and they put it as in the other guy's yard. So the one guy did the eggs. He goes, "I'll get you back," and he took all the trees and he put them in his the friend's front yard. But yeah, they used to always, like, it was fun, like, it was fun. But at TP, and you'd always would see these things. And I'm like, man, these guys are adults. I don't know why they would do that. Now I get it. I'm like, they're having fun, man. That's great.
But can you imagine how much it would cost these days for 1,000 eggs?
Oh man, no, I don't think that would be. Well, we had to go for some plastic eggs if that was the case.
I think it's about 75 cents an egg right now.
Is this still up there? I know they were coming down a little bit.
Yeah.
Are you guys an egg house?
Yeah, we are, and luckily one of the guys we bowl with, his chickens survived, and he usually brings me in fresh eggs. But
we'll call him Philly Cheesecake.
Yeah,
but I remember that. I stole your eggs that time.
Yeah, you did. But yeah, we are an egg house. We love our eggs.
We're not, my wife eats eggs. She's very healthy. Like, she eats the spinach and the eggs, and God bless her. My youngest, who was like, "Can I have some eggs?" I'm like, "Oh, great, you're gonna eat something semi-healthy." He's like, "I'm gonna eat like 19 eggs." I'm like, "Okay, that's not healthy." But me, I don't know. If I'm in a mood, I'm good. But my belly doesn't always agree with eggs. Or I like.
How do you like them cooked?
Well, I was gonna say I like eating them. Probably my favorite is hard boiled. Like if I work out or go for a run, because you got to be full of something, but you don't want to be like heavy down. How about you?
I'm not hard boiled too much, but I'm over easy, or not over easy.
You're easy.
Yeah, over medium or scrambled.
Yeah, I probably scrambled.
Yeah,
that's probably.
I like scrambled. I like making homemade burritos because I can't eat cheese, so homemade burritos are good for me.
Oh, that sucks. Yeah, the cheese is good in the.
Yeah, Well, it sucks because you go, like, if you want to go get a breakfast burrito somewhere, can't get it anywhere. They're pre-made. We don't take the cheese out.
Yeah.
And it sucks.
Hey, I'm really sorry, pal.
I know. I am. I'm missing the best thing in life.
One day we're gonna find a place that'll take that cheese out for you.
You know, there used to be one McDonald's that used to do it, and they won't do it anymore.
Just tell them you're the host of Barggianos. They'll do anything for you, I'm sure.
Yeah, they won't do it anymore.
Can't guilt them into it, can you?
No, I can't.
It sucks.
I know.
Do you remember on a previous episode I said how my mom never wasn't the best of seasonings of cooks? She wasn't just didn't do much with seasoning. It wasn't very good. But one thing she made was her eggs were really good. And God bless her, she's gone now. Miss her every day, but she would make these for my oldest son, and he still remembers this day. And he goes, her name was, we called her Mama. And he goes, Mama made the best eggs, and it's something I don't even know what she did. I think she put sour cream in them, like to mix them or something. But it's funny to this day. Like, man, I wish Mama's eggs were still here.
Yeah,
dump it out. But
oh man, yeah. There's always, like a salad at my house. I can make this salad the same way my wife makes the salad, but her salad always tastes better. Like it's certain things.
I know exactly what you're talking about. I got it. My mother-in-law can make a salad that tastes like a famous Italian restaurant here in St. Louis. I always forget the name of it, but it tastes exactly like this amazing. Everyone's like, "Hey, are you bringing your salad this time?" And she'll always make that, and it'll go so fast.
And she can tell you the recipe.
Well, yes, no, and I don't know about how the people in your life cook. They're like, oh, I just grab some of this and grab some of that, and just I'm like trying to write things down.
I do that a little bit. Yeah.
Oh, see, you're the cook. I'm not. You are a good cook. My favorite you've made. You want to tell the story when you brought down your toy that one time?
I brought down. I won't call it a Blackstone. It's a knockoff Blackstone.
Cheap bastard.
Yeah. And I think we drove Derek's truck down. They loaded up in his truck.
It was like 5 houses, but yeah, that's cool.
Yeah, and came down here one evening, hanging out in Barggianos, and cooked some Philly cheesesteak for all the neighbors.
Delicious. They were just like Charlie's
Steakhouse.
Charlie's Steakhouse at the mall. Yeah, that was.
Yeah, so had green peppers, had onions, had sliced beef, had provolone, had.
We had extra too. Like it was just like
I know.
It wasn't like, oh, I only get one piece and you're still hungry. It was just like whatever you want, keep going. My boys came out. Oh my god, they were the most polite ever. It's like this is the best night of my life, and all these things. And I'm like, I can't complain with you right now.
Yeah, it's. But I come from my wife. They always have too much food at every event.
Oh really?
Oh, they have to make sure there's enough food. I'm like, damn, you got 8 people going. What the hell are you bringing, 2 large dishes for?
Right.
Our family wouldn't even eat that.
Well,
we're going to have extra food.
That's a good thing, though. I guess it's better to have more. But
there's always extra food. Always.
Every time what my wife's side of the family does drives me crazy. And I tell them that they make fun of me. Is we'll go over there for like Sunday dinner or Saturday, whatever. And like, oh, and she's so sweet. My mother-in-law will be like, hey, sometimes I'm making like crab fettuccine. I mean, really good stuff. And she's like, anybody wants to come over, no big deal. So we get over there. They always eat at like 2:30 and the food's out. I'm like, I'm not gonna say the last name, but I'm like, it's that family's time to eat because I'm like, I'm gonna be hungry at 7 o'clock if I don't eat, and I can't wait to eat to a certain time. And they're like, my wife says, just eat. Who cares? I'm like, I'm just a man of a schedule.
Yeah.
I always eat the same time, and call me weird, but
no, I can eat at any time. I like early dinners though. I really love early.
What's
dinner.
early? And what day of the week's early?
Well, I got to work, so I never get like real early dinners. But when I'm traveling or out of town on vacation, I love eating dinner at 4 or 5 o'clock.
That's not early. I think 4:30 would be like you're generally 4 o'clock might be a little pushing it.
I love dinner at 4 or 5 o'clock. But you got to think when you cook, if you want to eat at 4 o'clock, you got to start at 3. I mean, that's
Well, yeah, if you're cooking.
Yeah.
I mean, if you're picking up food or something like that. I don't know. That's not too bad though. Do you know people that I got friends that and like their kids would be like toddlers. They'll eat at like 9:30 at night.
With our sports schedule, it's terrible.
But take sports out of it. It's just like that's how their family is. Nothing wrong with it. Just
Yeah.
And I'm like, I couldn't do it. My belly would be so upset all the time.
Oh yeah, and then going right to bed after you eat all that food. I mean, I guess you're in a food coma, so you're tired.
I had a friend that it was more on the wife's side that they would do this, and then he kind of acclimated that. Unfortunately, I don't think he was always a big fan, but he's like, oh yeah, I'm talking to his wife girlfriend. He's like, oh, okay, I'll pick up some food on the way home. I'm like, dude, it's like 9:45. Like, what are you gonna pick up? I'm like, are you going to like Waffle House or the?
Ooh, Waffle House, so good.
Were you a Waffle House drunk 2 a.m.?
I was not. No, I was Denny's.
Ooh, I'm with you on that. Give me a high five.
Yeah, we were Denny's.
Love me some Denny's.
Yeah, but it was a holiday around here that the wife and I were both off, and the kids had school, and I gave her like 5 options to go to breakfast. Some really nice places, some normal run of the mill chains, a couple local places. And she chose Waffle House. Yeah. And I said, I've lived in this city for 8 years. I've never been to this Waffle House. So I was like, let's try out this Waffle House.
The one out here by Taco Bell?
Yes.
Okay. And?
Oh, I want to go back.
Are you telling me we're going to have a live podcast episode from the Waffle House?
Maybe at like 5 a.m. We just won't have our beers, but we can ring the bell and cheers the coffee.
Maybe we can have syrup. We just down the syrup.
Right. Oh. Yeah. So the food was great.
Yeah.
The one thing I will dabble in every once in a while, even though I can't have, milk and cheese if I know I'm going right home and not doing anything for the day. Biscuit and gravy is like my go-to.
Some B's and G's. Now you're talking.
Yeah. So I ordered a side of biscuit and gravy.
Yeah.
That wasn't that good there. But everything else was.
Well, now, what was wrong with the B's and G's? There was a real bland gravy.
Yeah, bland gravy. The biscuit wasn't.
Oh, both.
Great.
Okay.
Yeah. So
note to self, Barggiano listeners, don't get the B's and G's from the Waffle House. So
yeah. Nice. So, but great service. I was shocked.
Well, aren't they like a foot away from you because they just turn around and make the food?
Yeah, but we were in I'll call it a booth at the window.
A booth, huh?
Yeah, and not as comfortable as the booths you have down here in Barggianos. I mean, they're hardwood. No,
can you describe the booth a little bit more? I'm
hardwood.
Whoa, stop it, you!
You got to sit on hardwood.
Oh no!
Yeah.
Gotta love those booths.
But you could tell the regulars that came in there, they'd walk in, and the waitresses that worked every day, they're like, hey, George, I'll go ahead and throw it up. You want your regular today? And it's like, yeah. And then, they serve them. And I was thinking, a lot of the meals were like $6. And
still?
And I noticed some of the guys that were ordering meals were like $6 and $7 meals. And brought up a discussion with my wife, like, that's not a bad deal. Now, I haven't been there, they haven't changed their menu price, but I heard Waffle House was charging a surcharge on eggs right now.
I can see that, though. They're 80% of their gig. I mean,
yeah. So
you tell me that Waffle House are having tariffs on their eggs?
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. So, but I'm thinking, if I was a retired guy, and I am a breakfast eater, one of my favorite meals of the day. I love breakfast.
Okay.
I'd probably wake up 5 days a week if I found breakfast, whatever it's going to cost then when I'm retired, comparable to today, that's $5, $6, $7, and I can just get a normal 2-egg toast, bacon, hash brown. The hash browns were great, by the way.
Good hash browns, huh?
Yeah. Yeah.
Did you see Kid Rock in there? I hear he hangs out at the Waffle House as well.
I did not.
Okay. Well, if you ever do run into Kid Rock, please say hello for me.
But the Waffle House was good.
So my favorite, I don't want to say a memory, but when I think we moved like towns 30 minutes apart, and there was on the main strip of the highway, there was a Waffle House, and they had the big old sign. It's where M goes crossways. So anyway, it only took like 12 years, but the lights were always burnt out on the sign. And finally, after like, it was about 12 years, it finally burnt out enough. It said awful hose. And I could have died a happy man. It was always so close too. It was like, oh man, one more letter. Couldn't do it. And one day I'm just driving down the highway, listening to some Bob Seger, and boom, there was a lot of awful hose right in front of me.
Not as funny as your story, but there was a gas station by my old house with my old roommate, and it was called Snack Shop. But the P was burnt out, so we'd always say, "Hey, you want to run this snack show?" But yeah, you see that all the time. Lights burnt out, and some of the stuff's funny. You just make up. And
Do you remember the old gas station Hucks with Hucks? It was called Hucks. So the big inside joke. I've been doing dad jokes since I've been 3 years old. But my dad and my mom, they would always joke that they what was it they. That we own, our family owned Hucks, but we couldn't afford the C. So we'd always would do this. So for one Christmas one year, it was really funny. I remember this too. My dad made got a piece of cardboard, and he got me a C. He goes, "This is for Hucks, son." And I never did see that money from Hucks, but every once in a while, there's like one Hucks left that I know of, and I'll drive past it and have some fond memories. So.
There's two that I know of.
It's by the bowling alley. If you kind of pass when you go up the ramp on the right hand side.
Oh, then there's three that I know about.
Maybe we need to go for a Hucks run.
Yeah.
Then we can stop for lunch at the Waffle Hose.
Like a bar hop, except a Hucks hop.
Ooh, Hucks. I'll get a discount because of my name. So
we can record it. And, different Hucks.
I mean, I'm down for whatever.
Yeah.
I think we could do it all night. So many things.
Hucks hop.
Hucks hop. Well, we'll work on that Hucks hop.
Yeah.
What do you do with this Hucks hop? Would we just
buy a soda, buy a beer? We can buy one beer. We won't drink it, and then we'll just use the beer for the podcast.
Okay. Well, maybe we're gonna stop at a Hucks stop.
But we'll pick the beer out for each other.
Ooh, that's romantic.
Yeah.
Thank you. Yeah. You're a gentleman and a scholar.
Sponsored by no one but Barggianos.
All right, Matt. Well, I think I don't know what else we could say tonight. I think we've said absolutely everything we can
about absolutely nothing. That's why I love this podcast. Like I just walk in and sit down, and Chuck's like, "Hey, we're all set up. You look good. I noticed you got a haircut." Yep, I sure did, Chuck.
I did absolutely nothing to prepare for this, but Matt got a haircut today, so I want to thank you for getting a haircut and looking so damn handsome tonight.
Yeah, I just walked in, got behind the bar, and Chuck's like, "Oh, let me remember to hit record tonight," and that's how we started.
Yeah, let me set up the 15 cameras and wires.
You got it.
I got
you got it.
And I want to thank you for letting me, because you're teaching me responsibility, man.
You are a professional.
Thank you. I feel good. Now cheers to that.
All right,
man.
Another fun show, Chuck. I hope you enjoy the rest of your day, even though it's a late night, and get some good sleep.
We will. On that note, Barggianos out.